What little lie did you tell that snowballed into something much bigger? Young co-worker and his sister would play practical jokes on each other. She put an exploding cigarette load in one of his cigarettes. He discovered it, stopped by drugstore on way home, and bought an eye patch. Went to a bar to kill some time. Called home and told mom cig exploded, and he was at emergency. Unknown to him. Sees confesses to mom. Mom slaps her upside head and much tears and sadness and anger all around. Co-worker goes home with eye patch on. Unaware of turmoil. Much sympathy and apologies and crying. Even nearby relatives had come to house to berate sister. Co-worker has to wear eye patch for 6 weeks. Never fessed up. LMAO, seriously? That's some serious commitment. What does upside head mean? To smack/slap someone upside the head just means to smack them on the head, usually the back of the head. Kinda upwards. It's a thing in the US South at least. I can't go to your party because I'm feeling sick tonight. A few hours later, my friends are knocking at my door with chicken soup when all I wanted was a quiet evening to read and masturbate. Greater than sign. I want friends like yours. I want friends. Oh god damn it. Okay, so I was trying to get my lying calibration with a budding drug addiction in early adolescence and figuring out when to hold/when to fold. Like, when do you make shit up and when do you lie by omission? Right? So one night I come home and just book it past my parents because I'm far too high to deal with them. I have cinnabarise and sniffles. It's a bit much. Last time of say nothing erupted, so I just made something up quick so I could go to my room without being bothered. When asked why are your eyes so red, I blurted out with zero thought Seth's sister has cancer and kept sniffling, then shut the door. Seth is an only child. This story had to evolve with his assistance every time I saw him. I made him participate. Mom asked me about Rebecca regularly for like a decade. I'm 13 years clean in October. There's this whole thing about making amends unless to do so would injure them or others, and since mom would ducking murder Seth for going along with it, I have said nothing. She hasn't asked about it in maybe 5 years, so I don't feel as bad anymore, but duck. I'm an awful person. But for what it's worth, Rebecca is in remission now and has a beautiful family. COVID could be the opportunity to kill off Rebecca. I wasn't clear about the scope of this. Mom bought cards, flowers, chocolates, a stuffed animal here and there. I'm not mentioning Rebecca ever again. She will be asking for funeral details and how to help the family. I was a little devil. So my family from my mother's side is Mexican. All of my cousins are blonde and or very light skinned, including myself. I went to stay there for a summer when I was around 6 to 7 and my cousins, and I spent a full day at a nearby pool with a bunch of other kids. I was used to bringing sunscreen in my backpack, but my cousins didn't even think about it since no one else was using sunscreen. As the day ended, most of the other kids were okay, maybe just a little more tanned. My cousins had major sunburns and were crying. One of them asked how come I was fine. Instead of showing them my sunscreen and aloe vera lotion, I told them I used the same thing we used for mosquito bites, lemon. Yes, they tried it. It resulted in 6 kids full of blisters and no birthday party for me that year. After my first real sunburn, I realize how much of monster I am. Oh my god. Ouch. Well, at least I think the blisters were from the horrible sunburn and not likely from the lemon. I was horribly sunburned as a child with blisters on my face. Will never let that happen to my child. This is going to be a long one, but it's funny and a mo worth the read. This is the story of man who never lies, telling one hell of a whopper. So, my wife and I have a friend, we'll call him Ryan, who was our roommate for several years. At the time he was working for Krispy Kreme, a donut chain for you non-Americans. It's worth pointing out that Ryan is honest almost to a fault. He has absolutely no ability to lie. His tells are super obvious, and he really never tries to deceive anybody. Like, seriously, not even little white lies. One day Ryan came up to me and mentioned that a coworker was interested in getting a copy of the old Rainbow Bright movie from the 80s for his little daughter. I've been known to sail the seas, and I went out, found a copy, and burned it to DVD for his friend. Easy peasy. Never thought of it again. Flash forward maybe a year and we are sitting around the house about midnight. Ryan has to go down to Krispy Kreme to pick up his check. It's about a 30-minute drive, and he asks if I'd like to come along for the ride. I've got nothing better going on, so I agree to meet him. The store is closed at this point, though. There's still staff there cleaning and getting things ready for the morning shift. It's worth pointing out that I have never set foot in this store before. Ryan heads into the back office to get his check, and I just chill up by the register. As I'm looking around and minding my own business, I see a guy approach. He looks at me and says in a bewildered tone, "Are you Podabus?" I thought it was a little strange that he knew my name. But whatever. Ryan works here. I've probably been brought up before. Yeah, that's me. I respond. "You're out already?" he asked. I have no idea what that means. So I just kind of shrug and say, "Yep, I'm out now." "Wow, I figured it would be years," he said. At this point I'm thoroughly confused and have no idea what this guy's on about. Right about this time Ryan comes back from the office and we make our way to his car. When we get to the car, I tell Ryan about the weird encounter I just had with that worker. Almost immediately Ryan turns beet red and tells me he has a confession to make. The long and short is this. The guy who spoke with me was the one who requested the Rainbow Bright movie. Apparently, after I had supplied the movie, he came back to Ryan and asked if I could get him some more stuff. Ryan said sure, make a list. Well, apparently this list was extensive, including not just movies, but full runs of TV shows. Ryan felt that asking me this would be an imposition, as it would require a lot of time and discs, and ultimately he just wasn't comfortable bringing that list to me. So this is where his lie comes in. Apparently the wife and I were getting it on in our bedroom one night at the apartment and got very loud. Our noise caused a bit of a public disturbance and a neighbor called the police. They come bashing on my door, and when I swing it open, the cops get a clear view of my living room. Picture Scarface, but instead of cocaine it's illicit discs. Piles of them. Thousands of them. I was running a massive piracy enterprise out of my apartment, apparently supplying most of the southeast US with illegal copies of everything from the Wiggles to District 9. Well, the cops took me in that night and I ended up getting a federal case slapped against me for distribution of copyrighted materials. I get handed a stiff sentence at a federal penitentiary for my evil deeds. All because Ryan was too embarrassed to just tell the guy that he was asking a bit much of me. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.